Okay, so I'm going to walk you through again how to wind the bobbin and thread the machine one more time with actual thread this time, not yarn. And then we're going to stitch through some fabric, okay? So I have my bobbin again, right here. There's no thread on it. Remember, it has these little notches here. So, for the sake of contrast, I'm going to use some red thread. And I'm just going to thread it through one of these loops here, just like that. And I'm just going to hold on to this tail and not do anything with it right now. Okay? I'm going to come back to my machine, and I'm going to thread the thread through the back catch, and then through the front catch. Again, remember to angle the thread this way this time, instead of just coming to the right of the catch, come to the left of the catch and go this way. And that might vary depending on the design of your catches. These are like little spiral corkscrew deals. They do vary from machine to machine. You're going to bring your thread down here, and you're going to hook it under this little silver dealy bob, bulby thing. And then you have it threaded through your bobbin. And you're going to put the bobbin on there so that your tail is going to the left of the bobbin. So you can still hold on to it, and you're going to make sure that that little notch in the bobbin matches up with the little notch in the pin here, and I just heard it click. So that's on there. Whoops. Yep, still on there. When I push this down, it locks into place. So there we go. This comes down. Now, most importantly, remember to turn your inner wheel counterclockwise so that we loosen up the needle, and it's not going to engage the needle when I turn the big wheel anymore. Get you out of the view. When I turn the big wheel anymore, right? Okay, so now, because my machine is old and I need one of these new rubber pieces right here, I'm just going to add some extra pressure onto this, but you shouldn't have to do that. And then, get my foot pedal in place, hold onto your tail, and press down on the foot pedal. Okay, so you have it threaded, you have your bobbin on here, you're holding out your tail, you're going to press down on your foot. I'm having a little problem with my machine, of course, but you can see, I'm sorry for the noise, that's just part of it. You can see the thread winding here on the bobbin. And you just go until you have as much thread on there as you need. You may not need to wind the entire thing full if you're doing a small project. There's no reason to waste thread. And, yeah. So, yeah, it should look something like this. Again, I'm having a little bit of a problem. Anyway, so that's your bobbin. So now, you have your bobbin case. And the bobbin case holds the bobbin inside of it. It's like a little house for it. And you'll notice that the bobbin case is kind of like a donut with this center hole in the middle, I guess, a hole. It has this little flippy deal here, which the only purpose of this is just a handle for you to hold on to, because you're going to need to hold it like this here in a few minutes, just like that, with the tail facing, or this metal piece. You'll notice it doesn't move. It's affixed right there. It always stays right there. And then you'll also notice that there's this little plate right here. And there's a little bit of gap under there. And your thread kind of goes under there from the bobbin, and then hooks on a little hook that goes like right just inside that little window. And yeah, there you go. And then there's a screw right there. That's the bobbin tension. And you don't ever want to touch that unless you absolutely have to. In the next lesson, we'll talk about tension, and I'll show you how to adjust this and get it set so you shouldn't ever have to touch it again. You want this bottom tension and then the top tension on your machine to be correct. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of problems. So we'll talk more about that later. But right now, I'm just going to show you how to thread your machine, the bottom from the bobbin, and the top again one more time too. Okay, so we have our bobbin, and we have our bobbin case. And then this is where a lot of people, I think, get confused, is to how to put the bobbin correctly into the bobbin case. So we have the bobbin case, or the shuttle. Sometimes it's called a shuttle. In your manual it might be called that. And then here we have our bobbin wound. And here's my tail. And you'll notice I'm holding the tail so that it's like coming off at 2 o'clock on the bobbin. And then I'm holding the shuttle, or the bobbin case, so that this prong right here that doesn't move is at 10 o'clock. So we have 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I'm going to put them in like that. Here's my tail. It fed right into that little slit there. And I'm going to pull it underneath that shuttle until my thread is coming out that little window. So that's it. That's all you do with this as far as putting the bobbin in there correctly. So remember, 10 o'clock for the prong, 2 o'clock for your thread, stick it in, feed your thread through the little slit and under this plate so that it comes out that little window. Boom, you're done. Okay, so now let me show you one more time. Actually, let's just finish the bobbin. So the bobbin slides in here under this little window, and it might be easier, I don't know if it's easier if I take I cannot take this off, or I would. And it is not easy to see down in there, so maybe the light is better. Pardon me while I adjust the camera a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's just a reflection, which I'm sorry for. Okay, so you're going to hold your bobbin case, like I said, gripping that little handle there, and pull it down from you, the little handle. And then if you look in your machine, you'll see that there's a notch in the top of this plate right here, and that's exactly where this little prong is going to fit right into there. So the prong is going to go up, so it's basically facing at 12 o'clock noon, and you're just going to put it in here so that the little prong on the top slides into the notch in the top of the plate, and let go of your little handle, and that's it. That's all you're going to do. Don't worry about the tail or the thread tail. Just pull it out to the front there like that. You can even close this if you want to. Not a big deal. Okay? So let's go back to the top thread and how we do that again. So I'm going to adjust the camera up. Sorry for the noisy thing. Okay. No. Sorry, technical difficulties like I had mentioned earlier. Alright, so we have our top thread here. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Okay. I'll move this box. Sorry, guys. I had to go searching for something in my bobbin fiasco. Okay. See, sewing always has some issue. That's just part of it. It's a lot about patience. Okay, so I have my thread on my thread spool. A spool pin, pardon me. I'm going to bring it through the back catch and to the forward catch this time, angling the thread to the left this way, because it's going to come down here. Go between the two discs of the tension knob, catching the spring on the side, and then on my machine I have to thread it through this little hole, so give me just a moment. Ugh. See, I need my nippers that I pointed out earlier. Through the little hole, boom, down through hook number 1 to hook number 2. Whoops. I'm not at the right angle, that's why it won't stay in there. Through hook number 3, and then I have to thread the needle, which will be very fun from this angle too. Okay. My eyes are not what they used to be, but woohoo, I got it on the first try. Okay, so again, spool, back catch, front catch, down and around the tension rod, up through the arm, through the first hook, second hook, third hook next to the needle, through the needle, and then you're going to pull it through the little slit in the foot of your presser foot, And then you're going to go back and you're going to tighten that inner knob. Just turn it back clockwise to tighten it up so that you get your needle to go up and down again. So you're re-engaging that mechanism that you disengaged to wind your bobbin. And then all you're going to do is by hand turn the wheel 1 revolution. And if you pull this out now, you have pulled your bobbin thread up through your throat plate here to the surface of your machine, which is what you want to do. Okay, so there's still a gap here for your fabric to pass through between the bottom thread and the top thread. If the top thread has come out from under your foot, that's okay. Just slide it back through that little slit in the foot again, pull your tail to the back, and pull your bobbin tail to the back as well. So you always want to start sewing with your tails, both of them, in the back behind you. And then here's just some scrap fabric that I picked out earlier. And we're just going to stitch it. Now I have everything set here. My tension is set to the middle. It's at normal. I do not have my zigzag engaged, so we should be sewing straight. I have my stitch length set to the medium stitch, or the standard setting, which is between 2 and 3. There's a dot there to signify that. And then I'm going to lower my presser foot with the lever in the back, and I'm going to hold on to my tails. I just wrap them around my little middle finger here for a minute just to get it going. And then I'm going to press on my presser foot, and remember to back stitch. This is essentially like tying a knot, so you always want to back stitch when you start and then back stitch when you stop, and that finishes your seam so it won't come undone. Okay, so grabbing my tails just to hold them secure while I start, I'm just placing my hand on the fabric. I'm not trying to push it at all. I'm going to let the feed dogs and the presser foot really do that for me, and the motor. I'm just guiding it. It's like almost like a Ouija board. You don't really want to touch it that much. You're just guiding the fabric. So I'm going to get going here. Doing the presser foot backwards. There we go. And see, you don't even have to touch. You can just use 2 little fingers. When you want to turn a corner, make sure your needle is down into your work. They call this the work when it's something that you're making. So put your needle down, raise your presser foot up. Keeping the needle down keeps your fabric in the right place. And then stitch again. Another back stitch just for fun. Now let's try the zigzag. I think. There we go. You can turn on that too. Again, just always make your needle go down. You can tell this machine, it runs like butter. It's so smooth. I never have any problems with it. I've only had it serviced once, and I probably should have had it serviced more than that. You should probably service your machine every about 500 hours. And if you've had a machine in your house, like in an attic or a basement that hasn't been used in decades, then yeah, go get it serviced. At least have it looked at maybe. If it's really dirty when you take it out, especially get it serviced. If it looks pretty clean though, like this, then you might be able to get away with it. Servicing isn't cheap. It's about $100-$130. And you just take it to one of those sew vacuum places that you see all over the place. Just look one up on, Google in your area or something. And it takes about 2 weeks. They take the machine apart and they just clean it all up, oil it for you, make sure everything's working smoothly. And yeah. So yeah, so you don't really even have to control the fabric, really. I mean, you can go slower if you want to. I'm going kind of fast. I can go really fast. And you can see this machine, it doesn't really matter. Actually, when I was going slower, it's kind of puckering the fabric, and that happens a lot with the zigzag stitch. I probably didn't have my tension set exactly perfectly for that, so yeah, that's what happens. Anyway, that's just a sample. So yeah, I recommend practicing, getting your machine threaded, the top and the bottom, winding your bobbin, getting these needles or these settings worked out and figuring out what they all do, and then just get some pieces, just some scraps of fabric. Doesn't have to be anything fancy at all. This was just some, I don't even know, piece of quilting fabric I had left over. And just stitch it out, just sew it together. Don't try to make anything. You're just trying to get a feel for your machine and its temperament. So that's it for today, for this first Scoot Stitches lesson. I hope that you learned something. And I hope that you'll come back next time for the next lesson. We're going to talk about probably tension, and I want to try to make something. I mean, I don't want you to have to wait lesson after lesson before we actually make something. So it'll either be a headband, like a stretchy fabric headband, or maybe like a phone holder for your arm, maybe something like that. It depends on how much time I have. If you have a preference for either one of those two things, let me know, and whatever gets the most votes is what we'll do. So yeah, you can send your questions or your votes or any other comments to us at scootadoot@gmail.com, or tweet us. We're on Facebook and also Instagram, of course. So yeah, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you thought. We want to hear what you want to learn about next time or in the future, or any questions you had about anything that I went over today. Please feel free to email us or tweet me too, and I'll get back to you. Just hashtag Scoot Stitches, and that'll help me find any comments about the tutorial today too. Yeah, so again, thanks for coming. I think in the future, just to kind of give you a heads up, we're going to talk more about making like underlayers for your costume, like taking a t-shirt or a tech shirt that you might already have and learning how to use it as a pattern to make another shirt. And we're going to do the same thing with leggings too, and shorts. So this is kind of like the underlayer for your major costume pieces, so you don't get itchy or, scratched up or chafed or anything like that. And then eventually I'm hoping we can actually use some real patterns to make actual costumes. I have a really cute Robin Hood costume for girls. I have a really cute ladies, like Captain Hook type of costume. So yeah, I think I might even have a Tinkerbell type deal. So I have so many patterns, that's ridiculous. So yeah, we'll find something awesome, and you are going to rock it out. I know it. So get to your machines and let me see what you do with them. Thanks again. Until next time. Bye.